Hi everyone, my name is Annabelle Doherty, and I'm going to be your project manager, so to say, for the upcoming study abroad program in Manchester. I'm really excited to be working with you guys, and just so you know, I have gone through this class as well, so I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, but I've gone through it all, and I'm here to answer any and all questions you might have. So today I'm just going to walk through the market research project as well as the final design sprint. And I'm going to do that by showing you guys what I did. So my topic, this was a year ago now, but it was AI and female athlete health. So specifically, we were working with Man City, the women's soccer team. Sorry, football, my bad. To talk about how menstrual cycles affected women's recovery on the team and how we could kind of implement AI to better track these cycles and overall improve their health and improve their recovery times and all that kind of stuff. So this was our topic, but the topics you guys are going to have, it's in here: beverage culinary merchandising, schools and hospital outreach, digital marketing, I think was one, digital content for fan engagement. So the point of this project, the market research, is to kind of become experts on your industry, on your topic, and to give you really good insight into where there's room for innovation, and to go fully confident into your design sprints. So for AI and female athlete health for Man City, we started with talking about the history of it. I think the requirement is about 3 paragraphs for this, but I will double check that. So we talked about early 20th century, 2000s to present. And then we also did a section about the use of AI. So important thing to note with this, your topics are going to be a little bit different. So the point of this project is to gather as much information as possible. So even though it says like 3 sections on history or whatever, you don't have to break it down by 3 different time periods. We wanted to do one specifically looking at artificial intelligence. So you can do things like that. You can kind of change around the prompts to kind of really focus on the things that are most important to your project. This is for you, and this is for you to have the best design sprint possible. So if that means focusing more on uh, digital marketing, outreach, whatever it might be, whatever you think is going to be most helpful. And so also to go along with that, we were looking at female athlete health. And so we did a section on the female athlete health triad, which is this decreased bone density, disordered eating, and menstrual dysfunction. Just because it was important for us to fully understand the unique health concerns that women face. So again, that's just going along with understanding your topic in full and being authentic to what the most important things are to learn about your topic. So. And then we did a market growth and industry analysis. Um, I think most of us have probably done a SWOT analysis or have seen one at least at some point in our lives. If you're into business and entrepreneurship, you will probably be doing a lot of these, but talking about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats within your industry topic. Key players, this is a really insightful part of the project. You're going to be looking at 5 of the key players who are doing important things in your industry, basically. So you can kind of start thinking about what solutions already exist out there. And this is also helpful for starting to think about where are there gaps in your industry? Where are there things that can be improved that you can do better with your design sprint to implement for these teams? So this is a very insightful part. This was just a note that we did. A features comparison. So this is when you take your key players and then you think about 5 features and kind of compare the key players and what they're doing with their companies. And important thing to note is you can make your features whatever you want based on your industry. So for maybe like the digital marketing group, it might be different social media platforms they're using. I don't know how often they're posting, how they're engaging with their audiences. Um, if they're doing in-person events, I'm not sure. It's going to depend on your guys' industry. But you can make these features whatever you want, again, to best find the ways to analyze your 5 key players and how you're going to do things differently and you're going to do things better for your design sprints. And then the PPS or the PPC. This is just kind of another way to kind of visualize your five key players. And again, um, your X and Y axis, you can make these whatever you want. So we did broad range of features versus limited scope of features, low personalization versus high personalization. The personalization, I think, was we were looking at like, do they implement AI to be able to create plans specifically tailored to each person that uses their app or their company. Um, but this might change depending on what your industry is. Maybe if I'm thinking the outreach group, maybe they would do um, if they're, I'd say again, maybe like using AI to create personalized plans for outreach and maybe their y-axis. Uh, I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but this is going to become more you're gonna have more insights when you learn your industry more inside out. Um, but yeah, it's you guys are gonna learn a lot as you're going through this, and I think certain themes will start to come up, which is important because that's gonna help you going into your design sprint. As you're learning and you're kind of figuring out the gaps, you're gonna kind of have a story that you're gonna tell as you're going through all this market research, right? So then Porter's five forces, again, another way to just kind of think about your industry from a different perspective. Is there rivalry among competitors? Is there threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, right? Again, just really trying to think about your industry from different perspectives, get the most insight you can. Yeah. So then we did some insights to kind of summarize that. How might we questions to kind of lead you into your design sprint section. And then your 3 to 5 year prediction, I think this is also uh, a couple paragraphs, right? So there's no wrong answers here. This is given what you have learned about over the course of your market research, which I think for you guys is going to be about a week, a lot more than we got. But based on your insights, where do you see the industry going? How can you implement these ideas into your design sprint to kind of have Man City and Salford City be ahead of the curve? So yeah, so we did here's our 3 paragraphs, and then we did some future opportunities, and we did a conclusion. But this can all be found in your the toolkit. So yeah, this is all in here key players and whatnot. And we also, Professor Mumford did put kind of little templates in here, like for the features comparison, how might we statements, all kind of things to help you guys out. You can use those if you want to. But yeah, this is a good way to kind of remember all the things that you're going to have to be doing. And that kind of leads us into the design thinking, the design sprint. Um, so basically, based on everything that you had learned with this market research, you're going to go ahead and implement it into kind of a maybe a website, maybe a company, business, whatever it might be, a service, and you're going to go ahead and turn it into something that can be tangibly used by your different clients. I think that's also in here. Yeah, you each have different clients. Um, but yeah, so we started with a website. This was our first attempt, so it's not very good, I will say. But we were gonna do Healthier Her. This is we at first thought it was just going to be purely an education platform, so that the younger students who are I think it was Man City had like a younger student soccer program football program, that they wanted the students to be more educated about women's health because there is such a gap in women's health. So at first it was strictly going to be an education platform. And then after we conducted some interviews, which is also going to be part of your process, and we got some feedback, we turned it into a much prettier website. And also we implemented AI into ours. So we did a bot that actually would talk to students, to girls about their well-being. They can ask questions, um, things like what is the best strength training exercise for improving my running speed, all that kind of stuff. So AI-driven recommendations. And then we also did pick up uh, soccer games. So this was an idea that we had where you receive text about recreational games starting near you. So this is some example text we had. Like you could start a game, um, and then you could join a game if there was one going on near you. So that was also a pretty cool idea. But we basically, for our second version, created a much more extensive website. We also had FAQs, and then our education section got much better because this was still the main point that there is a huge gap in women understanding their health and how to have longevity in their sports. Um, so it got much better, right? So basically, the point of the design sprint, yeah, taking your market research project and implementing a real service, website, business, and that you can actually directly help your clients. And it's going to look differently because you guys have different topics, but yeah, this is going to be a really good program. It's going to be a really good semester. And just know I've been in your guys' shoes. And you guys are totally capable of doing this, and you're going to learn a lot and hopefully help a lot of people, help these teams. So, yeah, I'm excited to work with you guys. It's going to be a really good semester, and you got this. Please reach out to me if you have any other questions. And yeah, looking forward to it.